On. You're live.
Well, hello everybody out there in social media world, Facebook land, whatever social media platform you are watching this on today, and happy last Monday of September. I said it this morning and I'll say it again. I feel like I went to sleep in March and just woke up and 6 months has passed. It's crazy what we've been through as a nation, as a community, and definitely here at the Chamber over the last 6 months. And we have learned to adapt, and our favorite word is pivot around here. So with that being said, everybody, welcome to our bi-weekly webinar series that we've been doing for the last 6 months in partnership with New Mexico Tech, and this month sponsored by Walmart. So we want to thank all of our friends at Walmart who support us. I know Patricia was involved in that in the beginning, but we'll get to that in a bit. But they have continued to stay on as really great partners, supporters in the community, and because of them, our programs that help small business owners grow and scale their business. So we're very thankful to them. I also want to say thank you to Miss Angelique, who is behind the scenes, the little elf that got us started today. She's a little Oz behind the curtains, and she really does exist. I promise you, I see her every day. But we couldn't without her, and she always makes sure that we're up and running and that we can bring you guys all the information, all kinds of fun stuff that's happening. And this month, we've taken the opportunity, because it is Hispanic Heritage Month, to really highlight our culture and our community. And that could mean so many things. And it's not the culture that we consider what we would have in our community, but it's culture like the military. You know, we have the base here. It's culture like the events that we do during this time. It's the balloon fiesta. It's all the things that make us the community that we are and the vibrant culture that we are. And so today we're actually going to be talking with a couple of our leaders in the community that really do some amazing work in different kinds of genres of events, if you will. But what's exciting is, you know, they've adapted to this crazy world of virtual. And so we're going to talk with them now all about that. So I would say, giving everybody just a little bit of time to get onto the page, as I can see the numbers moving. So get you guys all up on there. But today we're going to continue our conversation with Hispanic Heritage Month, and we're going to be talking Latina Style. We're going to be talking global Quirky, and we're going to be talking all the fun stuff that you're not going to miss, guys, because guess what? They've adjusted, and we're going to bring it to you virtual. And I have to say, it's a different way of doing things. But lately, you know, right now we're in the middle of USHCC, which is actually happening as we speak. And, you know, it's different. You get to watch and you get to multitask a little bit, you know. So I encourage you guys by the end of this segment to please mark your calendars for these dates we're going to share with you today, because it is important that we continue to support, because I have a feeling that by next year we will go back live and this platform will be expanded to continue a virtual platform and bring the world into what we do here in our beautiful city here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I want to introduce the panel to you guys today. Like I said, we got some treats. We're very excited. So I'm just going to go in the way that it is on my screen. And it looks like, Tom, you are up. If you could tell us who you are and who you're with.
Well, my name is Tom Fruge. I'm the founder of Global Quirky, and this year would have been our 16th year of a live festival this past weekend, actually, at the National Hispanic Cultural Center, where they've hosted us since the inception of the festival. And obviously we couldn't do that this year. I also have a company called Avocado Artists, which is a 360-degree arts organization, which produces Global Quirky and other things, other stuff.
Awesome. Welcome, Tom. Noelia, you're up.
Hello, everyone. Hola a todos. Mi nombre es Noelia Sosa. Actually, my name is, in the screen is Noelia Crisaful because I married, but my artist name is Noelia Sosa. And I am the lead singer of Noiso Santos. It's a band based in Santa Fe, and I'm very proud to be representative of all the Latinos community musicians here. And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. Patricia, tell us who you are and who you're representing today.
Let's see, I today am Patricia L. Chavez, business owner, 30-something years with PLC Enterprises, do corporate government relations, event management, and planning. But today I'm here representing our Latina Style Business Series, which is an annual conference that will be kicking off October 22nd. So I am representing the organization and working positively with our economic development director, Cynthia Jaramillo, to co-sponsor this conference.
Wonderful. Well, welcome everybody. So, you know, when we kind of put these webinars together, we kind of think about the theme for the month. And, you know, Hispanic Heritage Month is interesting because it crosses 2 months, because it's, you know, September 15th through October 15th. But I always tease about, you know, we just celebrate both all of September and October because that's what we do here in our community. But we wanted to really talk a little bit about the events that really surround, they fall within this month, they fall within this time, and why they're so important, not just to the economy, because we definitely want to touch on that, but why they're important to the artisans and the speakers and everybody that is involved, and why it's so important. So I want to kind of start with you, Tom, a little bit. If you could talk to us a little bit about what is Global Quirky and how did it come to be?
Well, Global Quirky is a 3-stage event of 3 stages of music. It's actually much more than that. There's dance and workshops and all that kind of stuff. But we bring in 17 bands every year from around the world, including, of course, the Latin diaspora, because you couldn't do a World Music Festival without the Latin diaspora. And 10 performances a night. The nighttime is typically ticketed, and our day programming on Saturday is free, and that includes, like I say, workshops and with the visiting artists, film, food, demonstrations, international dance lessons. It came about out of my lifelong mission of promoting cross-cultural understanding through music and the arts. Without getting too heavy about it, because it is a big party too. It's fun. But there's a big education aspect to it. I really believe if people understand other cultures, and I think it's easier to understand other cultures through their music and their food and their art, to be, you know, kind of not flip, but the more you understand other cultures, the harder it is to bomb them. You know what I mean? The harder it is to make people, to cast people as the other, right? If we're all together. So that has been the mission of Global Quirky from its very inception. I'm sorry about the phone ringing behind me.
They're wanting another booking, Tom.
Yeah, well, you know, our stream is happening in 2 days, so there's a lot going on here. So to talk a little bit about the stream, obviously we couldn't do Global Quirky live this year, even if we wanted to, due to state mandates and the fact that we're at a state facility, although I think that's all the right decision. I think the rush to do live stuff, even though I make my living through, you know, social gatherings, I think the pace that we're doing it at is probably the correct one. But we pivoted, as you guys like to say, to a live stream, which we're going to do on Wednesday, although it's going to be very unique because there was no way that we could replicate Global Quirky in a stream. So we could talk about that later if you want, or I could explain it now. But yeah, so we've been at the center for, this would have been our 16th year. And yeah, that's.
Well, you know, Tom, I think that what's exciting is that and especially here at the Hispano Chamber, we get it. You know, a lot of events have had to go virtual, and we can probably get away with a lot when it comes to virtual. But with Gala, the same kind of situation you have, it is literally all entertainment. And so it's a really hard to sell, if you will, to the virtual world when you literally have days of solid entertainment. And it's just a different thing. We're going through the same thing with Gala, because it's like, how do you do that for
Yeah.
hours. It's a different, it's not like, we don't have speeches and we don't have panels and we don't have auctions. And so it's different for us a little bit. And so we feel for you because we get it. We understand.
Well, and the thing is, we were saying this before we went live, we're all becoming television producers, basically. And, that is why I didn't want to just do even a straight concert. Like Noiso Santos are involved in the project on Wednesday. But you're not going to see Noiso Santos perform. You're going to see members of the band performing. But, we wanted to do something that was unique and not just, kind of another concert with lousy sound. And because that's the other thing, the whole tech issues that, we're all learning, latency and all that stuff, as I'm sure you know. So yeah, it is.
Echoing, like this morning, we were playing. We had Infamia Pimentel at Chaco, and so they put her in the lobby. And it sounds great when you're standing in front of her, but on the computer it was like rear, all this reverb. And so at the last minute, we were like, find a ballroom that's got walls because she's echoing. So sound
Exactly.
been a huge issue for us in the Monday morning music segment that we do. So I can imagine, and you're talking about musicians all over the world, so you don't know what their home is or where their space is that they're playing. You can't control it. So it's different. Right? Totally different. Well, Tom, tell us just a little bit about when it starts and what to expect during that, kind of the agenda for the event.
Okay, so it's called the Global Quirky CrossCultural Crossover. It's Wednesday evening at 7 on YouTube, the Global Quirky YouTube page, our Facebook page, of course, and on Twitch TV, the Avocado Artist Twitch TV channel. What it is we brought 4 past Global Quirky performers together and had them each select a song from their repertoire and completely deconstruct it with the members from the other bands.
Oh,
yeah, it's crazy. So we have Nation Beat, which is a Brazilian New Orleans collision. We have Noiso Santos. Noe is from Honduras, and she is backed by some wonderful New Mexican musicians. We have Vivalda Ndula from Angola, and Rahim El Haj from Iraq.
Oh my gosh!
So if you've never heard a Brazilian pandero in an Iraqi maqam with a jazz trombone solo, you will get to hear that on Wednesday.
With an Angola twist.
Vivalda, the Angolan Vivalda is singing on that track in Portuguese.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it really came out fabulously. If the video is half as good as the audio, and what we did is we recorded it like an album because everybody was all over the place. Mm-hmm. So we recorded segments, and I could have Noe speak to it a little because she was one of the musicians, obviously. It was interesting because at first people were nervous because they didn't know each other. And so they were like, it was almost cute how nervous they were. And then slowly as the project started, because we've been doing it for the past 3 months, we've been working on it. People started embracing it, and then it became a big love fest. And now they all know each other and they're following each other and they're all buddies. So that's what it's going to be. In between, we have 2 past Global Quirky MCs hosting. Catalina Maria Johnson, who is the host of the Chicago-based syndicated radio show Beat Latino, and she's also an NPR contributor, and Mel Minter from Albuquerque the Magazine and Musically Speaking, and they have conversations with the artists in between. And then to rep the National Hispanic Cultural Center, we are going to introduce the world to Josefa, the new executive director, and she's going to be interviewed by our state historian, Roberto Martinez, Jr. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a couple other surprises in there. The other thing I will mention before I hand it back is we are also part of what is called Global Music Month, a consortium of 19 festivals and presenters across the US and Canada, which present world music in the month of September. And we've always kind of worked together behind the scenes, you know, routing bands and stuff. This is the first time we've ever come together as a, publicly. And so under the umbrella of Global Music Month, we have a publicist. People have been writing about it across the country. We've gotten mentions in the New York Times. And so we're hoping that the silver lining in all this is there's going to be a lot of eyes on Global Quirky from fans from the World Music Institute in New York, or fans from Small World Toronto, or fans from Lotus Fest in Bloomington, and vice versa.
Wow.
It really helps to have a deep network, especially when you're talking global, Global Quirky, and bringing in all of these musicians from literally from around the world to come together to collaborate, which I think is exciting. And I love how we live in, I always like to say small but quirky, because everybody knows everybody. And we're actually doing an event with our state historian next month. And so I just think it's so cool how we're all, trying to come together during this time and really support and reach out to the people that are experts in these areas. And obviously Global Quirky is the expert in global music. And with that, speaking of global, I'd love to bring Noe into this conversation, because I think that she's going to have some perspective onto this. And I guess you were part of this new music that they were pulling together for this. So share with us a little bit about that.
Well, there's so much to say, but okay, first of all, this is our second time Noiso Santos be part of Global Quirky, which is an honor for us. This year, like Tom said, is a different event for a different year for everyone, right? So that crossover changed a lot of perspective about what being a streaming virtual concert, which as an artist is super hard. It's super hard to present yourself and have the audience in front of you. It's been a very challenging part for as an artist, of course, but this one is going to be, and I'm looking forward for this in serious Wednesday, because it's going to be totally different. And it's just we've been so much a privilege to just unify our talents, and we know each other. I mean, apparently I know Vivalda, apparently I know some of the artists, but I didn't know how they're going to, take my voice, but they accept my voice and the way I present in this song. For example, in Como Unas Cantan, this is one of the songs I play from a Nation Beat, which is incredible song. And I was super nervous, because I mean, the song's already ready, but I need to make my unique, sazon there. So, but funny enough, he loved it. And I remember I was super nervous for this one. And then Noiso Santos present this song, is North New Mexico song kind of vibe. And then Vivalda sing in Portuguese. And that was incredible. I mean, everybody, it's like the hardest year, but I think this is the beauty about this 2020, about be different and learn new stuff and be challenging for these new journeys. And I really appreciate Global Quirky take us in a different level this year. And I'm looking forward for that. So I hope you guys join us that day and enjoy that music, because we really take months to build this. So I hope you guys like it.
Well, we will be watching. We will share. We will do whatever it is. The Albuquerque Hispano Chamber Convention and Tourism Department is definitely a proud supporter of Global Quirky and have been for years. And so we're super thrilled to be a part of it. And Cecilia Marquez, who oversees the project, is all over making sure that we share this and get this information out. So we're going to be really excited to hear it. So we'll be watching for sure. And so speaking of, the world watching and a lot of stuff happening nationwide, here we are, and we're following not just in Hispanic Heritage Month, but we have a whole new conference that was supposed to take place live here in Albuquerque this year, but with everything going on, like much of the other events, it's figured out a way to go virtual. So Patricia, if you could start to share with us a little bit about Latina Style and what can we expect, what's upcoming with that event?
Well, of course, Latina Style magazine, Ana Maria Arias was the originator and the founder of Latina Style magazine. And that broke ground in 1994 when Ana Maria Arias had the vision that working women, the Latina professionals, needed a magazine of its own to spotlight what Latina entrepreneurs were doing in this country. Well, again, Ana Maria Arias passed away, unfortunately, and her husband, Roberto Bard, has since taken up the publication and continues to be the supporter of Latina Style magazine, along with Lupita Colmenares, who is also a publisher and vice president for the magazine. In about 1998, Latina Style Business Series was created as an evolution of what the Latina Style magazine puts together every year. They launched that first Latina Style Business Series as a need to profile what Latina entrepreneurs were going through in this country. And they, working with the U.S. Hispano Chamber of Commerce, Small Business Administration, our NABO partners, women business entrepreneurs, they put together that first conference, and it rolled out almost 22 years ago in Los Angeles. We thought, it was going to be a conference of maybe 40 leading women. It turned out to be a major sellout for the conference of maybe 400 in Los Angeles, and then another 400 on the waiting list. We, New Mexico, I believe, were the second ones that were able to bring the conference into Albuquerque. Almost, I keep saying to Roberto, it was almost 20 years ago. He's betting it's more like 18, 15 years. Same kind of issue here. I was the lead coordinator for that conference, co-chaired by then Tina Cordova, who was then on the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce at board as their national chair, co-chaired by another woman, Maria Elena Alvarez, who I believe worked also for the chamber. We also had the same wonderful problem. We had a facility at Embassy Suites that was going to hold probably 400. We also had about 400 on the waiting list. Well, now in this Hispanic Heritage Month, we were lucky and fortunate to be able to again see Roberto Bard and Lupita Colmenares, and they said, Patricia, we want to bring another Latina Style Business Series back to the Land of Enchantment. Well, they must have caught me on one of those times when maybe I had just a little bit too much tequila, and I said, oh, wonderful, let's bring it on back. This was pre-COVID last year in September. They said, great, would you help coordinate it? I said, well, of course, I'll help coordinate it. Cynthia Jaramillo, our co-chair for the conference and economic development director for the city, said, yeah, let's do it. We were all very excited last September to be able to host this. Well, guess what? COVID happens and we're like still pushing it forward. So Latina Style Business Series Conference is scheduled now, October 22nd, virtually, here in our Land of Enchantment. And we have co-partnered with, of course, Economic Development, NABO, other statewide entities, SBA, and we're going to be hosting this conference on October 22nd with the help of great community members, business leaders that will help us launch this. And yes, Tom, we have all become virtual experts, editors, producers, and how we bring folks together to get this done. And having just been one of the main facilitators in launching our Hispanic Heritage Month, you get very creative about how you're going to do this. But this conference is going to go on, and thankfully with our supporters from the Hispano Chamber of Commerce, one of the lead partners, we're going to make this happen.
Well, you know, Patricia, one thing that you said, which I think is important for everybody out there, not just watching, but people that are putting events on, you know, the show must go on.
Exactly.
If you want to get the message out, if you want to continue the legacy that your event has has and is important to our community, such as Global Quirky, perfect example, you have to be able to adjust. And that is something that has been completely crazy for everybody right now. So what I'd like to do is just talk for a minute, Tom, we'll go back to you. Let's talk for a minute about the adjustment, going from live to virtual, because also Global Quirky's not just music. I mean, you have artisan booths, you have other things that happen. So let's talk for a little bit about, that it's disruptive, I understand, but let's talk about that a little bit, because it actually came up in a conversation over the week. It was somebody that was like, I'm so sad, you know, there's usually artisan booths and food and other stuff. So
yeah. Well, Global Quirky, you know, we try, the idea is to make it a trip around the world, right, without leaving Albuquerque. So, you know, I like to say the things you can't get at Global Quirky are hot dogs and hamburgers and cotton candy. But what you can get at Global Quirky, depending on the year, is Ethiopian food or Italian street food or Pan-Asian food. And same thing with the artisan booths. Most come from New Mexico, but we have Project Hope, which is based in Boston. That's there every year with goods from Uganda. We have Elevate Nepal, which is based in Arizona, which is there with Nepali free trade stuff. You know, so yeah, there is that whole thing. And sadly enough, we couldn't make that happen virtually. Particularly because, you know, Global Quirky and Avocado Artists is a small organization. It's not like, you know, when Global Quirky's happening, it balloons because we bring in crews and stuff. But, you know, during the year, we're a small organization. So to come up with a way to virtually have a presence of our artisans, or, you know, we did discuss having some workshops online, but we thought that would be something that we might do during the year as separate standalone things leading up to the 2021 event. Yeah, there were some decisions being made. And because I couldn't replicate the festival virtually, I just really took a left-hand turn and created a production that would kind of represent our mission statement, if not the exact thing that you would get when you're at Global Quirky. So yeah, and it was difficult. So having said that, we did, you know, we have supporters that came in that will be seen, you know, kind of on the webcast, or whatever you call it, the stream. I do want to take this moment to actually publicly thank you guys. You have been supporters for almost since the beginning. The first people anybody see, the artists, when they get off the plane, are people from the Hispano Chamber. That's who greets them every year. And we love you for that. So yeah, it was difficult, but, you know, I think you touched on this earlier, Shannon, that I don't think any of this virtual stuff is going away, even when we go back to live. I think, you know, people are going to get used to it. And I think that we're going to see virtual presentations happen throughout the year by different organizations. And I think certainly Global Quirky is going to be among that, particularly on the education side of what Global Quirky does.
Exactly.
Because that's a big component of Global Quirky, is the educational outreach. And, you know, every Friday, people don't know this, but we have, on Friday mornings of Global Quirky, we have a school program where we've had up to 2,000 school kids on the plaza. We create it's by, you know, they have to register, the schools have to register. It's not open to the public. And we have two of the bands that are playing Global Quirky do an age specific interactive mini festival for the kids. And so they're exposed to all kinds of bands from everywhere from Taiwan to, you know, Ozo Motley did it one year. You know, that's something that we'd like to be able to bring to back to the community for children, you know. So yeah.
So when we first started, we were talking about how we're going virtual and we're trying to adapt to this time. But I think that there are certain things we can adjust to because it's just the way that it is when it's in person. But I think that we've been able to do a piece of things, especially when it comes to Global Quirky, being able to share the musical side of what they do. And we hope that you guys will make it priority, put it on your calendar, Wednesday night. You need to be tuning in live to their Facebook feed. You can tune into our Facebook feed. You can tune into their YouTube station, wherever it is. If you want to be, you know, just full of like energy, happiness, excitement, grab a glass of wine or your favorite beverage, whatever it may be, mix yourself a little spirit, something exciting, and play, you know, put on your Facebook on your computer or your phone, whatever it is, and listen to those sounds of people coming together from all over the world. That's what it's about right now, is everybody coming together and learning to live together, work together, and rebuild together during this time. And music always makes us feel better. Patricia said it right before we started that we should have started with music. And I said, well, we kind of did this morning, but you're right. You know, the foundation, the basis of our cultures and what we do, doesn't matter what culture it is food and music and gatherings. You know, we always gather together. And I think that's what we're missing. That's the one thing we're missing from virtual events, is the gatherings, you know, that we have. And so Patricia, you know, the same question for you, the adjustment of having to go virtual when it is so incredible to see all these ladies come together to share their stories and help build each other up and support each other during this time. And now more than ever, when we need to be supportive, and here we are virtual. So tell us a little bit about that adjustment.
Well, of course, when all this happened back in February, Roberto and Lupita said, you know, Patricia, you know, we still want to do this. And I said, well, heck yeah, we're going to do this. I mean, part of the Latina Style business series is about bringing our Latina entrepreneurs together through their stories, through their hardships, through what it took to raise each other up. And my associate Cynthia Jaramillo says, okay, I'm going to just leave it to you. Let's just go forward and do it. So that's exactly what we said. We're going to launch this Facebook Live with our Hispano Chamber feed, working with our partners from NABO, working with the USHCC, working with SBA. And we are going to have our kickoff with our panels on financial progression, on what it takes to build a business, what it takes to keep a business floating during this time of COVID, and getting some of our top professionals to continue raising our Latina entrepreneurs up through the power of virtual engagement, through the power of folks that have been there, are continuing to keep their business floating. And I say that some folks barely hanging on, keeping their business open, but being able to do that with the support of folks from economic development, CABQ Albuquerque, our mayor, reinforcing the need to keep this conference going, our lieutenant governor, who has been a great advocate for me personally as a mentor and for Latina Style business, said, hey, we got to show people that New Mexico is still open. I want to help open this conference. And unfortunately, our governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham, has been very, very busy with other activities and said, hey, our lieutenant governor can continue being an advocate for our state of New Mexico, working with our partners. So he's doing a wonderful launch as well with our mayor. So it's going to be a variety of great folks. And three significant entrepreneurs will be on that panel for raising one another up. We have Sylvia Ortiz Spence, the CEO owner for Silverado. We have Martha Carpenter, the CEO owner for Pasando Tiempo Wineries, and also one of our leading entrepreneurs and realtors in our state, as well as Krista Martinez, the president of NABO here in New Mexico and the owner of Krista Consulting. They'll all be sharing their virtual experiences and what it's taken to do and keep their businesses open and operating.
Yeah, to that point, we reached out to some of our supporters as well, and they did come on board to help us with this. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Santa Fe Brewing Company and Vivak Winery, and a big shout out to the New Mexico Humanities Council. They were one of the first that said, "What are you guys doing?" And of course, the Spano Chamber of Commerce. But yeah, so, and I also want to give a shout out, I won't name them all, but to the, about a score of individual people, supporters that said, hey, we want to donate to make sure Global Quirky happens in some form this year. And I thank them all, our globalistas, we call them.
Globalistas, I love it. Yeah, we can't imagine, at the beginning of the year when or the beginning of this COVID time, when we sat around and we started realizing this was going to be longer than a month and events were getting canceled, we had Global Quirky right there. We started thinking about what are the events, and our event season for our convention and tourism department really does start right there in March. And so every event that we support, starting with Gathering of Nations, has not happened other than virtual. And we just knew that there had to be some way. And luckily, over the months, people have gotten very creative and have come up with ways to continue this. But Tom, what is the one thing that you're going to miss the most this year about not doing Global Quirky live?
Oh, I think you said it, the gathering of people. And, I got to tell you, over the years, we have had, scores of bands from around the world. And one of the things that I always hear every year from bands is your audience is like nothing we've ever played in front of. I had one band say to me, I have never played in front of an audience that smiled for my entire set. And I'd like to think that's because of the vibe we've created, but I really have to give, props to the audience, to the audience that comes from all over the state and all over the Southwest and beyond. Now, we get people from out of state, but there is that vibe, and I think if you look at our different social media and what people say about the festival, it is a microcosm, I think, of what the world could actually be. We have people from during the day from 5 years old to dead. That's the age range, and they're dancing together. They're it's just. We have never had a major altercation at Global Quirky, never a major issue. People are just, that's what I miss. And as we've been saying in all our taglines, we shall gather again. We shall gather again. But that's what I'm going to miss, I think, the most. That and had Global Quirky happen this weekend, I would have been still in bed right now. Of course.
No hangovers?
No, God, no. It goes from, yeah. Sunday we do have a little after party, but
yes, yeah.
I think, just that community, that international community coming together. I had somebody say to me, I'm watching Ozo Motley on stage and I turn around and I'm dancing with Bambino from Niger is next to me dancing before he jumped up to join Ozo Motley, on stage. And that kind of stuff, like we have bands, the bands will come to us and say, after their set, they'll say, "Do we have to go back to the hotel? Can we stay?" And we're like, "Yeah, go, stay. We'll just schedule you back whenever you want." So that's what I'm going to really miss. I already missed. I miss.
It's a global celebration. I mean, it's
Yeah.
an incredible way. It's such an education. It's a learning event, and then on top of that, it's just plain old fun. And
Yeah,
it's
it's a big
just
party.
great to let loose and and just really appreciate globally what is out there. You know, because like you said, we can't obviously all travel all over the world, and you bring it directly to us. You know, here at the National Hispanic Cultural Center, and everybody gathers around, and it is truly an amazing sight. I said this about every event that has had to cancel this year. More than ever, I have said it. If you have never been to Global Quirky or any event that you were like, oh, I watched a little bit of it online, you better put it in the books for next year. Put it in your calendar since now. You're not going to want to miss it. You know, I'm going to miss the food. I'm going to miss all that fun stuff. There's a new restaurant that just opened on Central in Nobile called Tio David's, and it is fantastic. It's, you know, authentic Peruvian. We ate there last week, and the first thing I told Cecilia was, write that down so we can make sure to introduce them to Global Quirky next year.
Yeah.
It's delicious food, you know, and real authentic. She's Peruvian, obviously. Right. And so it was just us thinking ahead of going next year when we can all get.
Let me just say that next year's dates are September 17th and 18th, 2021. You know, and globalquirky.org, you know, is where to go for information. It's like you say, it's everybody's got. We'll get out of this. We might have a bit of a new normal, but we shall gather again.
Yes, we will. It'll be a little bit of new, a little bit of old, but we'll do it again. Noe, so what have you learned this go round? You know, I know you're having to do a lot probably virtually as well, but I'm sure as a musician, things have really changed for you the last 6 months.
Totally. So like we talk about, you know, we had to be, by the way, I just very amazed for what I listen when I listen so many supporters of, this is a very weird situation, but we have a lot of supporters, and I have to say thank you for those. Patricia, you've been amazing. I mean, I want to be part of whatever you're doing, because this is going to help the Latinas, you know, my woman thing. And I am totally in whatever you want me to help you. Just I want to put it there. And Tom, he knows I love what he's doing for the music, because we need more events like Global Quirky in the world. And I wish my country from Honduras, we have that kind of initiative for people, have this kind of things, but we're not. So your examples are incredible. So thank you so much for that. And then what I do, I just create more music. Me and my Santos, I have 3 amazing musicians in my band, and we are practicing every single week. Like, are we going to have a concert the next weekend? You know, because that's the part about be a professional too, and don't like, even in hard moments, we had to be ready for anything. So even in virtual things, we prepare ourselves. We have more knowledge, of course, about how you be a camerographer and how you be a director, producer. Technology is all about now. So we need to be a pro of that. And each individually, I've been created in my studio, which is have home studio. I've been buying stuff for make my sound better, and that's the beauty, I think, about when you have a hard time, you know, you be creative. You have to be creative and don't stop. So that's the beauty about Santos too, because individually they've been building this band, and we non-stop. We have festivals already, virtual festivals already, we be part of, and we very honored to be. And we going to have a second album coming up too. And wow. We just, you know, writing music and be pro. And that it's an amazing word. Is this proactive? Be proactive and be more beyond of what the even in the hard times. So I have to say I've been very blessed to have so much people who believe in our sound and our music, and those supporters that we just love it, and that's our gas right now, because we really need people who look in our Facebook, look our social media and support us and buy our music. That's exactly what we need.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that you said that, because I'll be reaching out to you we do our Monday segment, and we're always looking for talented musicians that maybe people either have not been exposed to yet or that are very well known and the community loves to hear from them. So I'll be reaching out to you for sure. Because I'm excited about it, and I'm anxious to hear the new collaboration on Wednesday, so I'm excited.
Of course.
Yeah, as we start to kind of close up the hour, one of the things is, we have this really strong presence in our community for our culture, how we feel. And culture is so many things, so many different things to so many people. It's not always about bizcochitos at Christmas. It is for me, but I mean, that's not necessarily. Everybody's definition of culture is so different, and you have been completely involved in so many ways culturally over the years with the different events and different things that are happening in our community. And so, just tell us a little bit about how important Hispanic Heritage Month is to you, and how that culture really helps, really helps the community, I feel, when we really work hard to keep our culture alive through events such as Global Quirky or Latina Style.
Well, let's see, I joined as a volunteer in 1986 with the Hispano Chamber of Commerce, volunteer to actually support our gala when it was just barely getting up off the ground. And I think, especially for our state, Nuevo Mexico, La Tierra del Encanta, I always say culture, music, our heritage, as entrepreneurs, what we continue to do to keep our businesses floating, working with one another, it is so critical. The Latina Style Business Series, raising up women entrepreneurs in our community. And I've coined this term, and I'm sure Ernie will remember, and Rudy Becerra will remember, that we always refer in business, many platforms refer to the glass ceiling, pero aquí en Nuevo Mexico, I call it the adobe ceiling. And we as Latina entrepreneurs have been pushing through that adobe ceiling for centuries. That's why the Latina Style Business Series is critical at this time in a virtual way with our comunidad, because we have to continue as Latina entrepreneurs pushing through that adobe ceiling and raising up our young people, young entrepreneurs, young folks at the Atrisco Heritage Academy who have been involved with our Latina Entrepreneur Series with Atrisco Heritage Academy, introducing them to the many entrepreneur role models, people like Mary Martinez, who's also going to be on our panel, and being able to relate and see themselves in those people, whether it's artistas, musicians, whether it's a restaurant owner, whether it's a winery owner, whether or not it's Silverado marketing and apparel home styles owner who has launched her business across the world to promote what she does. We as a community have to raise each other up so that we all punch through that adobe ceiling. And with folks like yourself, Shannon, who's agreed to co-facilitate that entrepreneurial panel, we will continue to make a difference in our comunidad through all the events, all the virtual opportunities that we have as a community to make differences and rise above that adobe ceiling.
Yeah,
I love it. That's my new one, adobe ceiling. We go with the glass ceiling, so why not? Why not make it cultural?
Oh, no, it's adobe here in New
know
Mexico.
about the adobes, you know.
It's adobe ceiling here in Nuevo Mexico.
Double. Double.
We were up north this weekend at my great grandmother's place, which is an old adobe, and so it's so appropriate, picking apples and cleaning up the property. So it was really nice, and it really makes sense. So I'm glad that you said that. That was a great statement. I love it. So Tom, one more time before we leave, can you tell us what day and what time and where can we find Global Quirky Festival 2020?
Okay, it is this Wednesday, September 30th, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and it will be streamed on YouTube, the Global Quirky channel on YouTube, Global Quirky's Facebook page, and the Avocado Artist Twitch TV channel.
Wonderful.
And it will be about 80 minutes of really, it's going to be groovy. It's going to be great. People are going to love it.
Groovy. I love it. So we're going to make sure, excuse me, we're going to make sure everybody out there is watching, and we are also going to share in the festivities on Wednesday nights. I'll be talking about it between today and tomorrow and Wednesday. Do not forget. We're really excited, and we'll be able to see Noe and some of the work that they've been doing and some of the collaborations. So we're super excited to have you with us. And we'll probably talk to you much more, Patricia, but tell us date and time of the Latina Style event.
The Latina Style Business Series will be live streamed on Facebook, YouTube, our GovTV channel with the Hispano Chamber of Commerce. That is the October 22nd, Mountain Standard Time, kicking off at 9 a.m., going to about 11:30 a.m., co-sponsored by the Hispano Chamber of Commerce, SBA, NABO, our community partners in LACE, the Hispanic Heritage Committee, and we'll have a whole host of wonderful financial experts and women entrepreneurs. Keep punching through that adobe ceiling, and free registrations, of course, and all opportunities for the following years to fill up the hotels here in Nuevo Mexico, Albuquerque.
Oh, we're looking forward to that. We will, the Convention and Tourism Department here at the Hispano will miss both of those events this year when it comes to heads in beds, as they say in the industry, but that's okay. We're going to build to it. We're going to get back to it next year. And we're super excited that we could share with both of you guys this year in these incredible events. Tom?
I just wanted to say that the Global Quirky thing is also free.
Yes. Yes. So keep in mind, everybody out there, it doesn't cost you anything to click on the Global Quirky link inside of the their page, their Facebook page, and share it. Share it. This is the best way. Share with your family and friends all over the country, all over the world. Send them the link, and let's enjoy together some incredible global music as we sit back and enjoy our Wednesday evening. We're going to be talking about that over the next couple of days. So I want to thank Tom and team for making this happen. We're excited to be partners and part of this, as we have been for years. And of course, Patricia, as always, we look forward to working with you over the next few weeks to kick this off and get it off the ground. We have incredible leaders in our community, and they are showcased in these types of events. And we need you, the community, to be supporting any way that you can, even if it's just watching. But if you can help in any way, please log on to those Facebook pages and those websites and show your support. We're always going to need the help. It's a little different now than it was over the years and driving in revenue from these events because they've gone virtual. And so we do need your support in the community. So we appreciate you guys taking time today out of your Monday, the last Monday of September, to share with us, to learn about Global Quirky and Latina Style. We're going to be bringing to you a lot more over the rest of the month for Hispanic Heritage Month. We're going to be talking about Balloon Fiesta. We're going to be talking with some other entrepreneurs in our community. We have a lot coming up over the next couple of weeks. So we invite you guys to stay tuned every Monday and Wednesday at 12 o'clock right here in the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber Facebook.
And Shannon, you're going to be sharing with everybody the links that they can go on to Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce, the Latina Style Business Series magazines, free registrations, and we're still taking nominations for Entrepreneur Latinas of the Year. So with that said, I know they'll link onto that and join us, Noe.
Yes.
Of course. Of course. Of course.
Tom, you're invited too. We don't discriminate.
We'll make sure that all the
Mi
links.
esposa es mexicana, so.
Well, pues, no más, hombre.
Gracias. And I will share with my community, of course.
Perfect, perfect. We need to drive the numbers up so that we keep the conference going.
Yes, no, we're excited. And like I said, you can find all this information on this link. You'll be able to find it for Global Quirky at our cabq.com page. You can find it on the Global Quirky page, on their website, on their Facebook, and the same with Latina Style. But just stay tuned. We'll be bringing you information all month long. We hope you guys have a great Monday. See, I was already saying Wednesday. I'm ready for the week to be half over. You guys have
Thank you, Shannon. You're great.
Shannon.
Wednesday.
Thank you.
Awesome woman.